Good morning. Our hand today is Ace Jack. So we have an early position limper. He is playing pretty tight, 19-2. Just looking at his stats, it does look like he is a tight player. Doesn't really raise a whole lot, but a little over 100 hands, I don't think we're going to really see it. So calling might call a little bit more than raise. So in estimating the range, I think I'm going to do something like this. Pretty standard, pretty tight. I think he would have raised like queens plus. I think king queen suited probably raise. It's tough to estimate, but it's going to be pretty tight range at about 8%, and that seems probably about right. His AP is 7, so folds to me. I raise. My raising range looks something like this. This isn't quite as large as a button raising range because we have early position. Now suited kings, I took out. The rest of the offsuit aces I took out, and I took it out because this player was tight, and before I raised I did check his early position stats and saw that he is a tight player. I'm not going to include all those suited kings because it's possible that I'm going to miss, and then I won't be able to get him off because he has a lot of these pocket pairs in his hands. With ace jack, I'm hoping to flop an ace, flop a jack, and hopefully get paid by some of those pocket pairs. It folds around back to him, and he calls. And does he fold any hand that he limps with? I don't think so. I think all of his pocket pairs calls. I think that's pretty standard. If they don't, I mean, I think it's these small pocket pairs, the ones that just kind of get rid of their hand. Flop comes out 10-8-6. Rainbow. He checks, and it's on me. What do I do? Do I bet? Do I check? And we're going to go look at what GTO says. Now, right here, I think this is probably a board that, it hits the caller's range really well, but I have some backdoor equity, and I looked. He, folds to a c-bet when he's out of position, third of the time, 2 out of 6. I think there's possibility that I could get him to fold two streets. I could possibly get him to fold. I think a 9 could help. A queen possibly could help. But I'm just basically betting because I think that king jack, queen jack, king queen, ace jack, ace 10, I think those are all fold, and I'd like them to fold. I'd like to buy their equity and just take this pot down. So here's GTO. I programmed so he doesn't dunk, at least at this flop, because I think most people don't. So it's on me. Do I check or bet? Looks like I am checking 64% of the time, probably because at 10 and the 8, those metal cards really hit his range. So if we look at my hand, ace jack offsuit, it's ace spades, jack of hearts. It looks like it's about 50-50. So I think we could bet, we could check. It's probably either way. So let's say we did bet because that's what I did. And it was, if anything, my mind was telling me I should check it, but I know I don't have a whole lot of hands in this guy's in the database. So I wanted to bet to see if he was going to fold. Really, this is kind of betting, you say, for information, but it's not like for immediate information. This is more for added information. I want to see what he's doing this with. So I did bet, and then he calls. Now if he plays GTO, he's going to be calling with all of these ranges, all of these middle ranges. He should be calling ace jack and ace 10. I don't know how likely that is for a player like this, but he is supposed to call. So I did bet half pot. He calls, and then we had the 4 of diamonds. Now the 4 of diamonds doesn't really help the board at all. So what do we do? Well, GTO says he should check 100%, and he does. So it's on me now. Should we continue betting? Well, at this point, I didn't. I checked it because I didn't really improve. I didn't pick anything up. I don't have any fold equity added because of this card. It is just simply, it's a 4. It's a 4. If it was a Broadway card, I could justify betting again. Kind of now it really becomes more threatening that like I have that top pair hand, but with a 4, if he doesn't believe that I have a 10, he's not going to believe. He's still not going to believe that I have the 10. He could be skeptical, but he'll probably get stubborn and just call down. So GTO suggests I am checking with Ace Jack, which is good because I did do that. But what other hands do we check, or what hands do we bet? So we are being aggressive with our straight. It looks like we're being aggressive with our 3 of a kind, or 2 pair, or overpair. So we're being aggressive with all of those hands. Top pair looks like half and half. Ace 10, King 10, we're betting, but Queen 10, Jack 10, 10 9, we're checking. So top pair, top kicker, top pair, second kicker, we're going to be aggressive with, because if we get called by a 10, chances are we've got them out kicked. But anything weaker than that, it looks like we are checking. Open end straight draw. Mostly checking. I guess the Ace 7 and Jack 9. So the 7s, the bottom end we're checking, the top end we're betting. So it's kind of like yesterday, maybe the day before, where we're going to be checking the lower straight draw, but betting the nut straight draw. So I did check, as I said, and then the river brought an Ace of Hearts. And now villain should bet out 6.86% of the time and check the rest. He's betting Ace Jack, King Jack's. I'm sure that's part of bluff, but for the most part, he's going to be checking here. He's mixing it in with Ace Jacks. Sometimes he's betting, sometimes he's checking, but he could effectively check 100%. Now it's on me. What do I do? It looks like we're split at 50-50. So it does look like I should be betting my Ace 10, Ace Jacks, Ace Queen, Ace King. That's probably for some value. Since the Ace of Heart, well, probably for some value. It's probably less likely the villain had an ace because there's really no suited ace that he's going to call with that flush draw. We'd go for some thin value. If we do bet, what's supposed to call? Ace Jack calls, Jacks are calling. So we do have, some hands that call these pairs. They're calling just basically to keep us honest. Is that realistic? Do I see that? Do I think they will? Well, versus an unknown, maybe. Maybe it is. So top pair, we're tending to bet here. Middle pair, looks like we're leaning more towards checks, but we're betting with Queen 10, King 10. So we're not going to let that ace affect us, which I guess that's okay. I think if we had to pick hands to, just check behind, I would think Queen 10, King 10 are some hands to check behind. But I also see the benefit of betting. I see the benefit of betting. We're definitely betting 2 pair plus. So top pair, most of our top pairs, we're betting, and then he's going to call at 39%. What did I actually do? I checked it, so I thought this was kind of a mistake. That's kind of why I wanted to look at this. I thought my c-bet was going to be okay. We're being aggressive with it. We're being aggressive with our hand. The turn doesn't really improve us, doesn't give us any fold equity. And again, whoever's ahead is likely still ahead. So I like my turn check, but it was this river decision. Should I have bet? Should I have gone for some value? And it does look like I should have gone for maybe about half. I mean, I bet was half pot. I do need to kind of look into how do we assess different bet sizing. EV of different sizing, but I think this is interesting. So those are our bets. All right, so what else? What happens if our turn was a little different? So what happens if we say this was a king of diamonds? Because I said Broadway is still going to help. So now it's check. He's still going to check. Now it's on us, and we are definitely betting. Ace Jack's going to be mixed, and I'm not surprised by this because we can't like bet it all the time. I mean, we're still on a draw, and it's kind of a gut shot. We're looking for 4 outs. That's what we're looking for. Maybe an ace, but I think sometimes we can't be 100% aggressive because some people aren't going to give us credit for that. So I probably would have bet. Looks like we're leaning on it with ace jack offsuit. We're leaning more to bet when ace of hearts, jack of diamonds. Maybe leaning a little bit more when we have the jack of diamonds. When we have the hands that, well, I'd say the cards that kind of match backdoor flush draws, but I can't even say that. So my actual hand, ace spade jack of hearts, looks like we're looking at 100% check. But I think again we could switch up, like, what hands would be checks. So again, I think it would probably be okay to bet to check again. What if this was like a queen of diamonds? Does that change anything? Makes it a little more likely that we're going to be betting our ace jack off. We're still betting all of these broadways, and we were with the king of diamonds. What about the ace of diamonds? If we have the ace of diamonds, then we are checking. And I think I could see why. We're protecting against getting check raised. We do have top pair hand. Okay, kicker. Oops, hold on. He checks. He's checked. Yeah, I do think we are checking a little bit more. We're checking now kings, queens, jacks. I could see that. We do have some value. If we check and he doesn't have an ace, he may lead into us with a 10, and we call and pick up some money. Ace jacks betting. Ace jack suited's not. That's mostly check. So we're gonna start checking down with that ace. What if it was a non? Let's say ace of hearts. What if it was an ace of hearts? He checks. Still, we're betting a little bit higher frequency. King of hearts. Yeah, okay, so we're still just kind of checking a little bit with our jacks. So kings, looks like we are less likely to bet with our ace jack offsuits. Queens, we are. What if we hit a jack though? Let's say this is jack rainbow. He checks. What do we bet? Now that we hit top pair, top kicker, I would thought that we would probably slow down a little bit. I think we would kind of have to slow down a little bit, because jack 10's in his range, 10-9's in his range. Ace jack looks like we are going to be betting some of it. Oops, hold on, I can't do jack of hearts. Let's do jack of diamonds. We're checking a lot more. Definitely checking a lot more. We are betting some. We're betting some of the hearts, the ace of hearts, including my hand. But most of the time it looks like we're going to be checking slightly more with that hand. And actually, you can see we're supposed to check 53% of the time. We're going to be checking a lot. Just kind of which hands are going to be betting, which hands are going to be checking. That's That's a good question. I do think ace of the jacks, ace jacks probably the ones that we should be betting more than king jack, queen jack. At least that seems to be my interpretation of the GTO strategy. So let's go back and say we had this relatively innocuous 4 diamonds. And we check. What if the river is something different? Let's say it is a 3 of spades. Villain checks us. Well, hold on. First, villain's supposed to be betting 87% of the time. That's interesting. So I think if I'm out of position like this and I've got a hand, I would probably play kind of similar to how he was playing it right now. Check the flop, call, check the flop, or check the turn. He checks, and then it's on us. Seeing this low card that we're now supposed to be betting a lot, that's interesting, because that's in contrast to, let's say, queen of spades. You know, we're mostly checking. King of spades, we're mostly checking. Jack of spades, we're mostly checking. But 3 spades, we're betting. 2 of spades, I bet we're betting. We're mostly betting. What if it's a 3 of clubs? What if it's different? We're still betting. What if it's a 6? What if, oops, yeah, there's a 5. What if it's a 5? We're still betting. What about a 6? 6 of clubs, we're still betting. So any of those low cards, I wonder if it's 10 or lower. Say we had a 10 of hearts. Yeah. So 10 of hearts and lower, we're going to be leading at a half pot. And I bet if we change the bet sizing of that lead, if we say we bet the pot, then it could be really different. So let's try this. So custom setting, let's say 100% pot. Build a tree and run the solver and check it out. All right, so we finished it up. We're gonna just do the same thing. We check, we bet. So ace jacks bet, he calls with, and it comes out 4 diamonds. He checks, and then we check behind, and this is where we said it was going to be, let's say, 3 spades. Now with the pot size bet, he's still betting, but not as frequency. So the larger bet size seems we are polarizing more, checking with 9s and 7s, which I probably would have been betting a little bit more. What if this changes to a 5 of clubs? Yeah, we're betting trips over pair. We've just polarized even more. What if it comes to 7? With the 7s, we're starting to check here, probably because 5s and 9s can hit. We are making some bets with our straights. Let's go to 10s. With the 10, we're mostly betting. So polarizing a little bit more with the larger sizes. You're going to be checking, more likely to check some hands, probably check call, but definitely polarizing. The smaller bet size, we're more likely to bet. And quite frankly, in a situation like this, if I was him, you know, I called the C bet, I check, he checks behind. Now I'm looking to bet. And it's good to see that ace, because I wouldn't have bet there. That's just a scare card. Actually helps his range more than mine, so I would have just checked it. But at like a 10 or lower, I think I would have let out. My guess would have been he has, you know, Broadway cards that didn't connect. All right, hopefully you like this. If you did, look tomorrow for another.